cruel persons cook poor animals and birds alive. Such persons are condemned even by man-eaters. In their next lives, they are carried by the Yamadutas to the hell known as Kumbhipak, where they are cooked in boiling oil. यस्त्वे इहा ब्रह्मधृक् सकालसूत्रसंगने नरके अयुतयोजना परिमण्डले ताम्रम्यये तप्तखले उपारि अधस्ताद् अग्नि अर्काभ्यम् अतितप्यमाने अभिनिवेशतः क्षुत् पिपास्याभ्यां च दध्या अमानन्तर बाहि शरीरा अस्ते शिते चेष्टते अवितष्ठति परिधावति च यावनति पशु रोमाणि तावत् वर्षसहस्राणि. Translation: The killer of a Brahmana is been put into the hell known as Kala Sutra, which has a circumference of 80,000 miles and which is made entirely of copper. Heated from below by fire and above by the scorching sun, the copper surface of this planet is extremely hot. The murderer of the Brahman suffers from being burned both internally and externally. Internally, he is burning with hunger and thirst, and externally, he is burning from the scorching heat of the sun and fire beneath the copper surface. Therefore, he sometimes lies down, sometimes sits, sometimes stands up, and sometimes runs here and there. He must suffer in this way for as many thousands of years as there are hairs on the body of an animal. All right, you can raise your hand for verse 15, please. यस्त्वे इहा वै निजा वेदपथाद् अनापति अपगतः पाखण्डं चोपगतस्तम् अशि पत्रवणं प्रवेश्याक्षया प्रहरन्ति तत्र हासव इतस्ततो ध्वावमान उभयतो धैर्ये स्थालवनासि पत्रेश्छिद्यामणा सर्वाङ्गो हतो अस्मिति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्मः पाखंड अनुगतं फलं भुंक्ते. मधुमय कृष्ण कांत माताजी.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यस्त्विहा वै निजवेदपथात् अनपदि अपगतः पाखण्डं च उपगतस्तम् असिपत्रवनं प्रवेश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति तत्र असौ इतस्ततः धावमानः उभयतादारैः तालवनासि पत्रैः द्यमाना सर्वांगः हतोऽस्मीति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्मः पाखंड अनुगतं फलं भुंक्ते. थैंक यू माताजी. हरे कृष्णा.
थैंक यू कृष्णा. उषा भट्ट माताजी.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी. प्रणाम माताजी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यस्त्विह वै निजवेदपथादनापद्यपगतः पाखण्डं चोपगतस्तमसि पत्रवनं प्रवेश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति तत्र हासावितस्ततो धावमाना उभयतो धारैस्तालव नासि पत्रैश्चिद्य मनः सर्वांगो हतोऽस्मीति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्मः पाखंडानुगतं फलं भुंक्ते. थैंक यू माताजी.
थैंक यू कृष्णा. विजय कुमारी माताजी. हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा माताजी. प्रणाम माताजी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यत्त्वह इह वै निज वेद पदात् अनापदि अपगतः पाखण्डं सोपहतस्तम् अलि भद्रवणं प्रवेश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति दादर हासव इदस्तदो धावमान उभयदो तारैस्तालवनालसि पत्रैः सित्यमान सर्वाङ्गोः हदहो अस्मीति परमाय वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे निबदति स्वधर्मः पाखण्डानुगतं फलं पुङ्क्यते. हरे कृष्ण माताजी. थैंक यू माताजी.
Thank you, Krishna. Shubha Rao, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Pranam.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यस्त्विह वै निजवेदपथादनापत्यपगतः पाखण्डं चोपगतस्तमसि पत्रवनं प्रवेश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति तत्र हासावितस्ततो धाव मानवुभयतो तालवनासि पत्रैश्छिद्यमाना सर्वाङ्गोहा हतोऽस्मिति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्मः पाखण्डानुगतं फलं भुङ्क्ते। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Krishna. Anjali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी दोनों प्रणाम।
Pranam.
यहाँ तो इह वै निज वेद पतथ अनापदि अपगतः पाखण्डं च उपगतः तम असि पत्रवनं प्रवेश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति तव हा असौ तत्र हा असौ इतः ततः धावमानः उभयतः दारैः तालवना असि पत्रैः छिद्यमान सर्व आङ्गाः हतः अस्मिति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्मः पाखण्डा अनुगतं फलं भुङ्क्ते। हरे कृष्ण माताजी।
Thank you, Krishna. Chitramohini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. यस्त्विह वै निजवेदपदाधनापद्यपगतः पाखण्डं चोपगतस्तं सि पत्रवनं प्रवेश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति तत्र हासवितस्ततो धावमान उभयो यतो धारैस्तालवनासि पत्रैः सिद्ध्यमाना सर्वाङ्गो अतो अस्मीति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्माः पाखण्डानुगतं फलं भुङ्क्ते. हरे कृष्ण माताजी. थैंक यू माताजी.
Thank you, Krishna. Usha Devati Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, प्रणाम माताजी। ओम नमो
Pranam.
भगवते वासुदेवाय। ये तु इह वै निज वेद पतात् अनपादि अवगतः पाखण्डं च उपगतः तम् असि पत्रवनं प्रवेश्य कस्य प्रहरन्ति तत्र आसौ तथा धावमानः उपगयता दारे तानवना आसिपत्रै छिद्यमाना स्व अङ्गः हतः अस्मि इति परमया वेदनया मूर्छिता पते पते निपतति धर्मः पाखण्ड अनुगतं फलं भुङ्क्ते. थैंक यू माताजी. हरे कृष्ण.
Krishna. Pranandini Madhavi Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी. प्रणाम माताजी. ओम
Pranam.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. यस्तु इह वै नीच वेदपथाद् अनुपदगतः पाखण्डं चोपगतम् असिपत्रवनं प्रविश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति तत्र हा असितवन इतस्ततो धावमानः उभयतो धारे तालवना असिपत्रे छिद्यमान सर्वाङ्गो हा हस्तस्मिति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्मः पाखण्ड अनुगतं फलं भुङ्क्ते. हरे कृष्ण माताजी. थैंक यू माताजी.
Krishna. Thank you. Pushpa Yashomati Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavade Vasudevaya. Yasvaiha vai nijaveda padartanapati avagadaha. Pakandam sopakadastam masi patravanam praveshya kasaya. Prakarandita tarahasa yadas tato tavamana तारैः तालवनासि पत्रैः सिद्ध्यमान सर्वाङ्गो आहदोऽस्मीति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पते निपतति स्व धर्मः पाखण्ड अनुगतं फलं पुङ्क्ते हरे कृष्ण माताजी
Thank
थैंक
you,
यू
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Madhumati Vilasini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यस्तिव्यः वै निज वेद पथाद अनापद्य अपगतः पाखण्डं च उपगतः तमसि पत्रवनं प्रवेश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति तत्र हासावितस्ततो धावमान उभयतो धारैः तालवना असि पत्रैश्चिद्यमान सर्वाङ्गुहा हतो अस्मिति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्मः पाखण्ड अनुगतं फलं भुक्ते। थैंक यू माताजी। हरे कृष्ण।
Krishna. Revti Ratnangi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी प्रणाम माताजी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यस्त्वा इह वै निज भेद पदात् अनापति अवगतः पाखण्डं चोपकदस्तं असि भद्रवनं प्रवेश्य कषया बृहरन्ति दादरा हासौ विदस्ततो तव मान उपायदो तारै सालवनासि भद्रै शित्यमान सर्वङ्गो हा हदो अस्मिति परमेया वेदनया मूर्छिता पदानि वर्तति स्वधर्मः पाकाण्डूनकदं फलं पुङ्कति। हरे कृष्ण माताजी थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Uttam Padma Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यत्तु यत्तु इह वै निजवेद पदात् अनादित्वा अपगतः पाखण्डं च उपगतः तम् असिपत्रवनं प्रवेश्य कषया प्रहरन्ति तत्र असौ इत ततः धावमान उभयतः धारै तालवन असिपत्रै छिद्यमाना सर्वाङ्गाः हत अस्ति इति परमया वेदनया मूर्छितः पदे पदे निपतति स्वधर्माः पाखण्ड अनुगतं फलं भुङ्क्ते। हरे कृष्ण माताजी।
Thank you, Krishna. Yaha, anyone who to but iha in this life, why indeed, Nija Veda, Krishna, Pathat from his own path recommended by the Vedas, Anapadi, even without an emergency, Apagataha, deviated, Pakhandam, a concocted atheistic system, Cha and Upagataha, gone to, Tam him, Asipatravanam, the hell known as Asipatravan, Praveshaya, making enter, Kashaya, with a whip, Praharanti, the beat, Tatra, here, there, her suddenly, Asau, that, Ita Tatha, here and there, Dhvamanaha, running, Ubhayataha, on both sides, Dhare, by the edges, Tal Van Asi Patrehe, by the sword-like leaves of palm trees, Shidhyamana, being cut, Sarva Anga, whose entire body, Ha, alas, Hata, killed, Asmi, I am. Iti thus paramaya with severe, Vedanaya pain, Murchitaha fainted, Pade Pade at every step, Nipatati falls down, Swadharmaha the killer of his own principles of religion, Pakhanda Anugatam Phalam the result of accepting an atheistic path, Bhungte he suffers. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Bhagavadgita. If a person deviates from the path of the Vedas in the absence of an emergency, the servants of Yamraj put him into the hell known as Asipatravan, where they beat him with whips. When he runs hither and thither, fleeing from the extreme pain on all sides, he runs into palm leaves with palm trees with leaves like sharpened swords. Thus injured all over his body and fainting at every step, he cries out, "Oh, what shall I do now? How shall I be saved?" This is how one suffers who deviates from the accepted religious principles. Purport by His Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada, Shabbat Ki Jai. There is actually only one religious principle, Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. The only religious principle is to follow the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unfortunately, especially in this age of Kali, everyone is an atheist. People do not even believe in God, what to speak of following his words. The words Nija Veda Patha can also mean one's own set of religious principles. Formerly, there was only one Veda Patha or set of religious principles. Now there are many. It doesn't matter which set of religious principles one follow. The only injunction is that he must follow them strictly. An atheist or Gnostic is one who does not believe in the Vedas. However, even if one takes up a different system of religion, according to this verse, he must follow the religious principles he has accepted. Whether one is a Hindu or a Mohammedan or a Christian, he should follow his own religious principles. However, if one concocts his own religious path within his mind, or if one follows no religious principles at all, he is punished in the hell known as Ashipatravan. In other words, a human being must follow some religious principles. If he does not follow any religious principles, he is no better than an animal. As Kali Yuga advances, people are becoming godless and taking up so-called secularism. They do not know the punishment awaiting them in Asipatravan as described in this verse. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjan Shalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahiyam Dadati Sapadantikam. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namasite. Taptakanchen Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pisthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti Namne. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shnevadi Paschatya Deshatharine. Okay, so let's read 13, 14, 15. For the maintenance of their bodies and the satisfaction of their tongues, cruel persons cook poor animals and birds alive. Such persons are condemned even by man-eaters. In their next lives, they are carried by the Yamdutas to the hell known as Kumbhipak, where they are cooked in boiling oil. The killer of a Brahman is put into the hell known as Kalasutra, which has a circumference of 80,000 miles and which is made entirely of copper. Heated from below by fire and above by the scorching sun, the copper surface of this planet is extremely hot. Thus, the murderer of a Brahman suffers from being burnt both internally and externally. Internally, he is burning with hunger and thirst, and externally, he is burning from scorching heat of the sun and the fire beneath the copper surface. Therefore, he sometimes lies down, sometimes sits, sometimes stands up, sometimes runs here and there. He must suffer in this way for as many thousands of years as there are hairs on the body of an animal. If a person deviates from the path of the Vedas in the absence of an emergency, the servants of Yamraj put him into the hell called Ashipatravan, where they beat him with whips. When he runs hither and thither, freeing from extreme pain on all sides, he runs into palm trees with leaves like sharpened swords. Thus injured all over his body and fainting at every step, he cries out, "Oh, what shall I do now? How shall I be saved?" This is how one suffers who deviates from the accepted religious principles. Okay, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, which is called as the creative impetus or Visarga or the secondary creation. And what is the name of this chapter? I think we will not forget the name of this chapter even in our wild deepest of sleep. What is the name of this chapter?
A description of the
Hellish
hellish planets.
Description of the hellish planets. So Sukhdev Goswami is continuing to describe the intensity. Remember, in the beginning of the chapter, Sukhdev Goswami gave a foundational basis of the intensity of the punishment that's given to a person. I think it's verse 3. that Sukadeva Goswami says that there are 3 levels of punishment. Those who are activated by the modes of, okay, if one acts in the mode of ignorance because of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. One who acts impiously but knows the distinction between pious and impious activities is placed in a hell of intermediate severity. And for one who acts impiously and ignorantly because of atheism, the resultant hellish life is the worst. So basically, what we are seeing is that the punishment is getting intense and intense as the description of the hellish planets is going on and on and on. Imagine like fire at the bottom and the place is made of copper and there's sun on the top, and then there's hunger, there's thirst, and you're getting beaten up from all the sides because you killed a Brahmin. Or imagine, deviating from the Vedic path. So one who deviates from the Vedas path does not get happiness even in this life, right? Does not get happiness even in this life. So what Krishna says this. So what about next? He talks about a doubting soul, right? Doesn't talk about in 4th chapter. For a doubting soul, there is no happiness in this world. Forget about the next. T-shirt. Forget about the next. I think is it 4:9? What is the verse? Does anyone remember? He gives a principle, and here, no. What is that verse in 4th chapter? Does anyone know? For a doubting soul, there is no happiness anywhere. Let me know if you find out, because there the description. There is a description. Let me know, okay? Because what I'm trying to connect that is that particular Krishna gives that there is no happiness even in this life. Forget about the next. So why are there doubts? Because we are not following the Vedic injunctions. If we start following with a little bit of a faith, we will understand what it means later in life. We might not understand in the beginning, and we mostly don't. We just start chanting. Most of us start chanting because there's some sort of peace in the mind. We don't understand how we are feeling peaceful. We don't understand. It's like Prabhupada gives example that you go to a doctor and the doctor diagnoses what's going on in your body. You don't know what's going on in your body. Go to a doctor tells you diagnosis, gives you the medicine, you have faith, and then you take the medicine and then you get better. But you don't know how the medicine acted, right? But you had the faith. Like that, we don't know how the Vedic principles are acting. But what we can do is we can put our faith. If we can put our faith, then we will be saved from such kind of Mathaji is 440, such kind of misgivings or punishments which are waiting. So Sukadeva Goswami is actually expanding on that what are the punishments which are waiting? What is it? For ignorant and faithless who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So ignorant, faithless, and the doubting. The Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Prabhupada has a different commentary. Here Prabhupada is combining ignorant and faithless, and it looks like same as doubt, who are doubting, right? But Vishwanath Chakravarti Prabhupada says there are 3 level of categories of people described here: ignorant, faithless, and doubt. One who doubt. And he says, out of ignorant, faithless, and one who doubts, the worst is the doubting soul, which is basically atheism, right? It's basically atheism, which is not the right thing to do. And the bigger question is, what makes one atheistic? Why wouldn't you believe that there is a creator, there is God? What is the problem? Why do we embrace pain? Okay, why do we like to embrace pain all the time and make it as a norm of life when there is so much happiness waiting at the other part of our existence? In this same body, we can be happy, but we would rather pose as atheistic. I know you know the answer. What is the answer? What makes somebody stay thick with their own idea, concocted idea without a Shastric reference that there is no God? They would doubt. What is it? What's acting?
Their
When it's
ego.
Envious Mataji.
the perfect.
Okay, enviousness, okay. What else?
Ego, Mataji.
Yes.
Ego.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
Yes, false ego, and when he thinks that he is the controller and he knows everything.
He is a knower. He thinks that he is a knower.
Yeah, so we were reading today, actually, yesterday for India, the 18th chapter. Krishna explains different kinds of happiness, right? Different kinds of happiness, different kinds of intelligence. So it's like the modes of material nature put one trapped into wherever we want to be. But the question is that what makes one trapped? Yes, the bottom line is that enviousness towards Krishna, the desire. But if we have to really start solving the problem, if we have to really start helping such an individual, then where do we start from? Because we are not pure devotees. We cannot just give them pure devotional service like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. We can, on their behalf, if they empower us, they can use us and do it. Yes, we can do that if they use us. But technically, the thing is that the modes have to change. The modes of material nature have to change. We need to bring ourselves up at least to the mode of goodness. Because if we are not leading our life in the mode of goodness, then we are going to suffer. We are going to suffer where we are right now, and we are going to suffer where we are going to go after we leave the body. Unless and until somebody from our family does that proper oblation to Vishnu. That is also very rare. The Shraddha ceremony is not done according to the Vedic injunctions. Everybody have their own concocted ideas, so it really doesn't help anybody. The whole family suffers. The whole generation suffers because we're not following the Vedic injunctions. So it's not just it stops at one particular generation. Okay, it's not that, okay, this particular person in this particular family is not following the Vedic injunctions, so they are the only one who are going to go. No, because if they're playing as a role model to anyone, then they also taking them there. Everyone is going. So what my other question is that we often teach that a good parent is a parent who does not use my way or the highway technique, right? Who are not like dismissive, who do not disapprove, who do not use the the power of, what do you say? How should I say it? The power of the physical or emotional torture on a child. Right? A good parent is a parent who validates the existence of their child. But here we are seeing that it appears that Krishna has empowered Yamraj to give this sort of a punishment where there is no choice left. You see, it looks like they're beaten up like so much. They're beaten up, and even if they want to run away from the beatings, they have to go and take shelter in the palm trees where the leaves are like sharp as swords. So basically, there is no escape. It is suffering everywhere. So how do we bridge this gap? That is Krishna being a very hard on them? Can Krishna not just like have like a nice talk or give them intelligence? Why does one has to suffer so much? You can raise your hand, okay? Please don't speak over each other because it becomes difficult. You're understanding what I'm saying? That what is the need for making such elaborate arrangements of such elaborate punishments when Krishna can just make the things go smoother? Why can't Krishna make them go smoother? Why it has to be like this? Why is there so much emphasis that if you don't follow, then this is what is going to happen? And it is going to happen. Whether we believe it, we don't believe it, it does not matter. Prabhupada gives example that if you're driving in a country where in India, there is right-hand drive, In Western country, there's left-hand drive. So if an Indian comes and drives on the right side of the road because that's what they're used to, and they get caught that why are you driving on the right side, and the person says because that's what I'm used to, that's not good enough reason. The person will get fined. Doesn't matter. So whether I believe it, whether this is happening, or whether I doubt it is happening, nobody cares. Krishna doesn't care. It is going to happen because it is there. If we believe it, then it is in our benefit. If we don't believe it, then we are who cares, and who actually suffers is we. Yeah, so what is the need to make such elaborate arrangements? Nobody is desiring to go there. We are not seeing. Yes, there are desires to go to heavenly planets. Yes, there are desires to go to subterranean heavenly planets. But nobody is desiring to go to hellish planets. So we cannot say that one is desiring to go to hellish planets. Nobody, huh? Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji. It's the rules, no, Mataji, actually. We have to abide, like how you given the example of Srila Prabhupada's mentioned, like if you are taking right or where it should not be taken right. So like that in the life, everyone has to follow the rules and what is mandatory things we have to accept. But
So
sometimes
that's my question, that why can't rules be a little bit more lenient? Does it have to be like so severe?
we will take light, Mataji. We will not find the severity of that. Once a person feels that it is severe, I think they will abide to follow.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Okay, so basically you're saying, okay, fear incite the fear in the heart of a person, and then out of the fear they'll follow the rule.
Yes, Mataji.
That really is that relationship a very nice relationship where we are following something because of the fear. If I don't follow, imagine being in that relation.
It won't
The
be
person comes home and we are gonna get up and eat at that particular time or sleep or do activities because of the fear of that person.
that will not be nice actually. But some people will not understand also. So people who can understand, they will follow, but who don't understand in the mode of ignorance, we have to tell them as this is how it happens. Then only they will have little fear. But slowly they can develop by the mercy of a devotee or something. They will be able to come out. But otherwise, I think they have to fall down only, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. Prem Prakash Ajas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hmm.
We are tough rebellions. We have taken many births, and so we are seasoned criminals. I will give you a synonym or similar example. I see my daughter-in-law, and she is loving and respecting children until about 2 years, and her behavior is so nice and so good. Between 2 to 4 years, that behavior gradually changes into the mode of gradual strictness and punishment. And by the time the child reaches 6 and 7, she is in a full-blown mood of punishing, even without hearing a lot of things. So I think the God is also realizing that this person who has been taking millions and millions of births, he has sat so well, doing all his criminal activities and enjoying life, that unless he is properly punished for all the bad things that he do, and all the such things are kept elaborately, he is not going to be straightforward at all. So it's frustration on the part of the Lord, and that's why he creates such a big elaborate system, saying, well, if you do this, this is what you have. Hare Krishna Mataji, this is just offbeat, probably nothing to do with the religion.
Now it has some important points that we are frustrating Krishna. So Krishna has to take a very heavy stand, okay? Vijay Kumari Mataji, thank you. Vijay Kumari
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Mataji, we are the children of God Krishna. So he wants to bring us to his feet of the Lord. So she fear us. If you do these things, you feel like that. Like I think so. If it is in the personal, we can do at any time, we can eat and sleep, anything. But we are in the society, we must follow that.
Thank you, Mataji. Krishna. So, they're very nice. Thank you very much. Yes, Vijay Mataji, you have something more to say? You see, Krishna is absolute. Absolute means that everything is complete in him. Okay, and when we define something which is complete, it has all the faces. Okay, it has love also, and it has war also. He's absolute. And the real thing is then what makes it absolute in Krishna consciousness is because Krishna is doing it. So the foundation is love, the deep love for the conditioned soul. Even if he's killing the demons are actually getting liberated, even though it appears that he's killing. If we see killing happening in this part of the world where the wars are happening, there's no guarantee that the person is getting liberated, even the killer or the killed. But when Krishna is doing it, they're getting liberated, but it appears that he's killing. So killing itself, whatever idea we have that killing itself is associated as like a sinful activity, it doesn't exist in Krishna. Shuddham apapa buddham. Apapa vidham. So he's shuddham. He's very pure. He's apapa vidham. No sin can touch him. So in absolute, just see the progression of Srimad Bhagavatam, that Sukdev Goswami is describing this. And then gradually from now on, we will dive into the pastimes of the devotees, of which will be the examples of how merciful Krishna is. Okay, he is going to forgive the sin of Ajamil. Ajamil did the sin, right? Ajamil's father is a Brahmin. He did kind of kicked him out. Right, so there will be so many examples going forth from 6th canto onwards to see that, okay, there are these hellish planets, okay, there are these things, but look, Krishna can make us not go there. But what makes us go there? It is also, if you actually absolutely look, it is hard to see right now because it appears like, oh my God, the subtle body is suffering so much. There is no gross body here. It's all subtle body which is suffering, mind, intelligence, and false ego is suffering so much. It's actually, it's actually the love of Krishna. It appears that, oh my God, this is so horrible. Yes, but if it is given by Yamaraj, who is a Mahajan, who is a pure devotee, like Prabhupada, if would sometimes use the words like rascals, right? During his lectures, if you hear Prabhupada's lecture, but that doesn't mean that he's using it to curse someone. It is out of the concern that you don't do that. Don't do that. Like that, Yamaraj is making arrangements to punish conditioned souls based on what they did when they were given a chance. And one thing is, these all are punishments for human beings. There's no animal punishment because animals don't go to hell. They're all 100% are human beings, 100%. So we go there, we see Yamaraj, he looks at us, he sees what I've done, and then he puts me to a particular place, which is also, if actually we see, it's actually a loving hand of Krishna. Because if we don't get punished, nobody tells us that this is wrong. Nobody punishes us. Then we go on doing the same thing over and over again. Or maybe we'll start doing more and more sinful activities. So if we go through this chapter, understanding that Krishna is absolute, Krishna's affection or love is actually absolute. Yes, there is going to be love, expression of love and cajoling, but there's also going to be an expression where it looks like he's actually killing, he's actually giving punishment, which he does even in his own pastimes. But understand that the basic foundation is deep love and concern. Then we will be able to understand that it all makes sense. Because if we just superficially read, and if we base our relationship based on fear, that, oh my God, I'm going to follow the religious principles because if I don't follow the religious principles, then I'm going to end up in this hell called Ashipatra, then that relationship with Krishna is not going to be so deep, you see, because it's based on fear. And Krishna says this. What does he say in 4th chapter? Is his 10th verse? Vitaraga bhaya krodha. What does he say? Vitaraga bhaya krodha. There's one Mataji who's expert in reciting verses. This Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mam upashataha. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger. Being fully absorbed in me, taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they have all attained transcendental love for me. So we have to not go to Krishna, not have to choose not to go to Krishna because of the fear factor. That can be an initiating point, but that is not going to be something which is going to sustain a relationship based on the foundation of the fear that if I don't keep myself here, then there is this danger waiting for me, is not healthy. There is no growth because we are locked in the paradigm of fear. There's got to be fearlessness, there's got to be expression, there's got to be exchange, appreciation, everything, right? So don't fear by hearing all this. That's the idea. And don't start thinking, oh, yes, we can take inspiration that I'm so fortunate that I have actually access to bypass all this. I have access to bypass the entire material creation. Actually, right away. I have access, I have that Maha Mantra, which if I take shelter of and I hold on to it, I don't need to go through anything, neither heavenly experience nor hellish experience. So don't cultivate fear by reading it. This is information, it's given, but it is also a loving hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understand it in that manner that Krishna loves me. He may disapprove what I'm doing, but he's not going to disown. Because he's not disowning, that's why there is this punishment. If he would disown, I don't know what our life will be. I don't know if the soul can even exist if Krishna disowns the soul. I don't even know. But okay, so avoid doing, but avoid doing can only be done if we are doing something else. Otherwise, how much can we just avoid? So become very much sincere with your chanting. Okay, because that's where the magic is. Everything else is based on how we are chanting our 16 rounds. Am I getting distracted, or am I doing it as one of the chores, or am I, hearing a class and then finishing my rounds, or am I like watching the phone, or am I holding a conversation but also chanting Hare Krishna? No, just filter everything out. Everything else need to wait. Everything else need to stay still because I am chanting. Because this is my time with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why one needs to make arrangements or adjustments in one's schedule to chant. And if one makes, then Krishna moves the time. He can move it. He's God. He can move the time. We restrain ourselves. So please, if one inspiration you can take from all this description is that become very, very serious and attentive to your chanting of the holy name every day, day after day. I think I'll stop here. Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections? Mataji, can stop recording.